Stop everything. This story isn't about cash, it's about the complete failure of an entire system. In 1963, a train rolled through the English countryside, carrying £2.6 million, a sum that, today, represents an impossible, towering mountain of cash worth over $70 million US. It was the nation's banking reserve, sitting vulnerable inside a simple carriage, stolen in a brutal, efficient 30-minute act by 15 men who planned a corporate takeover of crime. This wasn't a robbery. It was a psychological strike against the very idea of British security. We're going to dissect the crime that created the criminal celebrity, exposed government incompetence, and forever changed the rules of the game. Get ready for the definitive breakdown of the Great Train Robbery. You have to understand the decade. The early 60s were a collision of old-class structures and new, restless ambition. Young working-class men like Bruce Reynolds saw the wealth of London, but were barred from it by society. The criminal element of the time wasn't just poor, it was ambitious. They saw crime as a faster path to the wealth promised by the emerging consumer culture. Crucially, the public was tired of the establishment. The stage was set for an anti-hero. When the news broke, people weren't just shocked. A huge part of the country was secretly rooting for the thieves. The government system was old, relying on simple protocol. Reynolds saw that trust as a weakness he could exploit. Bruce Reynolds was the architect. His ambition wasn't to live well, it was to be untouchable. His target was specific, the Royal Mail Up Special train. Why this train? Because it carried the old, used, unmarked banknotes from banks in the north, destined to be shredded or recycled in London. These notes were virtually untraceable, making them the perfect clean score. Reynolds spent 18 relentless months studying the train's speed, the guard shifts, and the simple reality that the security guards were just postmen, not armed soldiers. His plan was about engineering a vulnerability into the system, not overpowering it with force. Reynolds built his crew, the firm, like a specialized military unit. It included the organizer, the muscle, the financier, and critically, the technicians. The technical mastery relied on two men. First, the source of the plan, the contact, Ronnie Biggs. Second, the man who made the stop possible, Stanley Agate, the retired train driver. Agate wasn't interested in violence. He was interested in money for his retirement. The plan was deceptively low-tech. They didn't need high explosives. They needed a simple railway signal at the most isolated point near Ledburn. The tampering was simple. A glove over the green light, a battery to power the red. A perfect legal trap. At 3 a.m. on August 8th, the engine driver, Jack Mills, saw the red light and stopped the train. He was an innocent man, following the rules. This moment was the point of no return. Mills was immediately attacked and brutally beaten with an iron bar, suffering serious head injuries. This single act of violence was the true moral cost of the heist. Mills was forced to drive the locomotive and the money car 1 mile to Bridego Bridge. His life, and later his death, partly attributed to the attack, became the hidden tragedy behind the glamorous headlines. The train was now a stationary target, ready for the extraction. Inside the postal car, there were 70 workers, terrified but compliant. The robbers didn't waste time looking for valuables. They went straight for the 120 canvas sacks of high-denomination cash. The bags were heavy. The crew worked like a drilled machine, passing the 2.5 tons of cash out of the door and down to the waiting trucks. But the pressure was immense. The light was faint, the noise was chaotic, and their efficiency was slowly giving way to paranoia and greed. This intense pressure forced them to cut corners, creating the fatal flaw that would ultimately destroy them. The safe house, Leatherslade Farm, was their downfall. The plan was to lay low, but the massive amount of money, they were literally swimming in it, fueled recklessness. They played cards, they drank, and they made the most basic human mistake. They left fingerprints. When the heat intensified, they abandoned the farm quickly, missing key evidence. The police found fingerprints on a Monopoly board, a crucial print on a ketchup bottle, and even half-eaten food. For all their brilliant planning, they were undone by lazy, simple forensic errors, the antithesis of a perfect crime. The fingerprints gave Detective Chief Superintendent Jack Slipper the keys to the entire puzzle. The police launched the biggest manhunt in British history. The government demanded justice, viewing the crime as an attack on national authority. As the men were caught, the trials became a massive media event. The judge's response was brutal. Massive, unprecedented sentences of 30 years. This wasn't just punishment. It was a political statement designed to terrify anyone contemplating organized crime. The sentences were so severe, they shocked the legal profession itself, showing the true fury of the state. The final chapter was written by Ronnie Biggs. His audacious escape from Wandsworth Prison using a rope ladder cemented the crime's mythical status. He became an international fugitive, living openly in Brazil, selling his story and actively taunting Scotland Yard for decades. Biggs became the face of the crime, a figure of defiance and anti-establishment rebellion. His celebrity was the true, lasting reward of the heist, proving that for some, infamy is more valuable than freedom. The Great Train Robbery remains a defining moment. It was a flawless plan executed by ambitious men who couldn't handle the pressure. The money was mostly recovered or spent, but the moral cost was immense, most tragically to Jack Mills. The crime redefined security and proved that human error is always the ultimate vulnerability. It asks us, when does ambition become recklessness? And when does a crime become a legend? Did the sheer spectacle and infamy justify the decades of lost freedom? Let me know your definitive analysis in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that truly changed history.